I still remember the night she said it. Not the exact words, not even her tone, but the silence that came right after, that sharp, hollow quiet that made me realize something inside me had just shut down for good. We'd been arguing about something petty, something so small I can't even recall what started it. But then she sighed, rolled her eyes, and said, "You know, my ex never made everything such a big deal. He knew how to handle me. He was superior." That word, superior, echoed in my mind long after she'd walked away. I stood there, trying to convince myself I must have misheard her. But deep down, I knew she meant it. She wasn't comparing habits. She was comparing men. And in that comparison, I had lost. Her name was Vanessa. We'd been together almost 4 years. I met her when she was still piecing herself together after a brutal breakup. The kind that leaves a person cracked in ways only time can fix. I helped her rebuild. I was the patient one, the listener, the guy who believed love could be earned through consistency and care. But the truth? You can't outlove someone's ghosts. They always find their way back. The days that followed fell off. She'd laugh at her phone a little too much. Keep it flipped over on the couch. Casually mention places they used to go, like she was testing how far she could push me. I didn't react. Not because I didn't care, but because some part of me had already started to detach. When someone you love humiliates you once, you get angry. When they do it again, you gain clarity. A week later, she cheated. I didn't catch her, she confessed. Maybe it was guilt, or maybe she just wanted to make a point. She told me she'd reconnected with him, that it just happened. I remember sitting across from her at our kitchen table, staring at the woman I thought I knew, while she picked at her nails and refused to meet my eyes. She said it like it was an accident, like she'd tripped and fallen into someone else's bed. But what still stings isn't the betrayal. It's what came next. She said, "It made me realize how much I miss being with someone who knows what he's doing." That was her way of telling me I wasn't enough, not as a man, not as a partner, not even as a memory. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just stood up, walked to the bedroom, and started packing. She didn't stop me, not until she realized I was really leaving. Then came the soft voice, the trembling lip, the sudden tears. But they weren't for me. They were for the stability she was about to lose. I left that night. No shouting. No dramatic goodbye. Just silence and a closed door. Over the next few days, she called. At first, her messages were angry, accusing me of being childish, dramatic. Then they softened. She missed me. She'd made a mistake. It was a moment of weakness. I didn't respond. Instead, I shut everything down, blocked her number, deleted her photos, erased myself from every corner of her life. If she wanted to compare me, I'd give her nothing left to measure. And that's when the real story began. 3 weeks later, mutual friends started reaching out. They said Vanessa wasn't doing well. The guy she'd cheated with had ghosted her completely. She'd been chasing closure, but all she found was silence. The same silence I'd been living with for months. She even reached out to my sister, asking if I was okay. Said she regretted everything. Said she never thought I'd actually leave. But I was gone, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't shouting or trying to prove you're right. It's disappearing so completely that they start to wonder if they ever really knew you at all. The thing about silence is, it doesn't just fill space, it echoes. At first, Vanessa probably thought my absence was temporary, that I'd come back once I cooled off like always. But when weeks turned into months, that silence started to haunt her. And unlike me, she wasn't built to live with it. I moved to another city, rented a small apartment in a quiet neighborhood. No reminders of the past. I stopped checking her socials, stopped wondering who she was with, stopped trying to make sense of why she did what she did. Because sometimes understanding doesn't heal you. It just keeps you chained to the pain. I rebuilt myself quietly, piece by piece, like a man stitching his own wounds in the dark. Meanwhile, she began to unravel. It started with random messages from unknown numbers. "Hey, can we talk?" "Please, just 5 minutes." I ignored them. Then came the emails, longer, more desperate. She said she'd made a terrible mistake, that the man she cheated with wasn't who she thought he was. She said she missed my calmness, my stability, the peace I brought her. Funny how people start romanticizing the very peace they once called boring. One message said, "You disappearing like this, it's cruel. I just want to explain." But there was nothing left to explain. Some things don't need closure. They just need distance. Months passed. I got promoted at work, joined a gym, reconnected with old friends. I even started seeing someone new, a woman named Claire. She was grounded, kind, nothing like Vanessa. The first time she asked about my past, I told her everything. Not to get sympathy, but because I didn't want to build another relationship on silence. She just nodded and said, "You don't look like someone still stuck there." And she was right. Then one night, out of nowhere, Vanessa showed up at my apartment. It was raining hard, that kind of rain that blurs streetlights into soft ghosts. I heard a knock, opened the door, and there she was, soaked, trembling, eyes wide like she'd seen one. For a moment, I almost didn't recognize her. The confidence, the arrogance gone. What stood before me wasn't the woman who once compared me to her ex, but someone hollowed out by regret. She said, "You really weren't supposed to move on this easily." I didn't answer. I just stood there, watching her search my face for the man she'd once belittled. "I thought you'd fight for me," she whispered. "I did," I said quietly. "But you mistook my patience for weakness." After that, there was nothing left to fight for. She cried, begged, said she'd do anything to make things right. But love isn't a switch you flip when loneliness hits. Once you destroy someone's peace, they don't crave your presence anymore. They crave their solitude. I closed the door gently. Didn't slam it. Didn't curse. Just closed it. Behind it, her sobs mixed with the sound of rain. That was the last time I ever heard her voice. It's been over a year now. I still think about how different life feels when you stop chasing closure and start choosing peace. I'm not bitter anymore. In a strange way, I'm grateful. She taught me that sometimes losing someone is how you finally find yourself. Every now and then, I hear from people who knew us. They say she's not the same, that she regrets everything. But regret isn't love. It's realizing too late that you took stability for granted. As for me, I've learned that walking away quietly isn't weakness, it's power. Because when someone tells you you're not enough, the best thing you can do is disappear so completely that they spend the rest of their life wondering how someone inferior managed to move on without them. In the end, she said her ex was superior. Maybe he was. But the day I disappeared, she learned something he never could teach her. What it feels like to lose a man who loved her enough to never return.